addiction to substance or behaviour. My addictive substance, alcohol. My behaviour, well, drinking, working, relationships, you name it. I could take it to extremes because I felt I needed to be perfect, and I was never perfect in any shape or form, but I thought I had to strive to be perfect. And where did that come from? Well, mainly from fear of not being good enough, and wondering how to fit in, be a part of, make life work, look like other people, all those things, driven by 1,000 forms of fear, and never knowing quite what the fear was based on. And what I found in recovery, one day at a time, is my fears have diminished. My putting on a brave face has diminished. My need to utilise ego to feel better at the expense of, I guess, I don't know who or what, has diminished as well. So that I just need a bit more courage, faith and confidence to face whatever the day has in store for me. So these days I prefer, after many, many years of drinking, not to, on a daily basis, just for 24 hours. A 24-hour program helps me do this, and that's the program of the Fellowship of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And on the way, family, friends, community love me enough either to help me and support me, or to leave me to sort it out for myself. And in different parts of my story, all those things happened. So tough love sometimes, where people said, no, we can't help you because you can't stop drinking. And why not? And there are many questions about that, but before I go too far, I am in the Fellowship of AA. It saved my life. It's a bunch of unique, authentic people. We are a bunch of unique, authentic people, all on our own unique, authentic path. And we choose our path as we go. We are not predetermined. We're not waiting for the next prediction in our lives, because now that we've stopped drinking, we don't need to predict it. We need to be open to the choices as they unfold in life, rather than holding ourselves to an idea of what life ought to be. Life is as it is. So what is the Fellowship of AA? I will share the Statement of Intent, or AA Preamble, because it puts me back in the moment of now to understand what's important to me. Sober comes first so that I can be a part of family, community and society as the choices unfold. And it goes like this, the AA Preamble, or Statement of Intent. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And part of why I do these videos, for people who can't get to meetings or are not sure about what is AA, and also to share the message on a daily basis of what is happening, or to me, and to keep me sober, and to maybe use this literature here, daily reflections about how life is. And I have a look on the internet sometimes. January for me is all about step one, reminding myself and admitting I am powerless over alcohol, and if I were to drink, life would be unmanageable again. So I admit it, and then I need to accept it. And part of acceptance is a daily process. So if we think we've admitted, accepted, and we can move on, the answer is yes, as long as we don't forget that we are in a place of acceptance. Going back to drinking will bring back all the chaos. And I was just looking on the internet and saw a reminder of step one questions, and here are some of them, and I'll give you some answers before I go waffling on. First question, do you require a drink the next morning? Or did I? And the answer was yes, in the end, 24/7. It doesn't apply to everybody who's an alcoholic, some are bingers. Do you prefer to drink alone, or did you? And the answer was yes. Isolated drinking meant I didn't have to explain my drunkenness to anybody. Do you lose time from work due to drinking? I lost everything. Is your drinking harming your family in any way? And the answer was yes, by my absence or my inability to be a part of family. Do you crave drink at a definite time daily? In the end, 24/7 for me. Do you get the inner shakes unless you continue drinking? In the end, yes. Does drinking make you careless of your family's welfare? Well, I was a single chap, but I do have a brother, a sister, a mother, and other family, and I wasn't able to be a part of. Has drinking made you irritable? In the past, very. Does drinking make you careless of your family? Oh, repeating myself. Has drinking changed your personality? It certainly did. I had no personality in the end. Does drinking cause you bodily complaints? Well, yes. Emergencies, intensive care, you name it, been there, seen it, done it. Horrible, detestable, shaming and very guilty about it at the time, not realising I had a disease. Yeah, goes on. Does drinking cause you difficulty in sleeping? Yes, because I just needed to keep on drinking, and then I wanted oblivion for years and years and years, to take my mind off everything, or drink to take my mind off everything that was ailing me. Has drinking made you more impulsive? I can't remember. Have you less self-control since drinking? I can't remember. Has your initiative decreased since drinking? I can't remember. Has your ambition decreased since drinking? No, I was driven. And then when 24/7 drinking came in, I just wanted to die. Has your ambition decreased since drinking? It did. Do you lack perseverance in pursuing a goal since drinking? No, it actually made me more and more obsessive, and then it took away everything. And I could go on. There are more questions, and you know, it's not. I don't say it to depress me or to boast or anything like that. It's just as it was. It was horrible. But the answer is, once we stop drinking, there is more to learn. We have a gap, and that gap in the first days, weeks, months is horrible. It torments us, because it's like we know the answer to get out of this, to fix ourselves. And true fixing, if you like, is not to fix. So I go with AA, where I can go talk about whatever's going on in my head, and it helps me. And the daily reading, or daily reflections for today, January is all about step 1, powerless over alcohol and life being unmanageable. And it says here, begin where you are. We feel that elimination of our drinking is but a beginning. A much more important demonstration of our principles lies before us in our respective homes, occupations and affairs. It's usually pretty easy for me to be pleasant to the people in an AA setting. While I'm working to stay sober, I'm celebrating with my fellow AAs our common release from the hell of drinking. It's often not so hard to spread glad tidings to my old and new friends in the programme. At home or work, though, it can be a different story. It is in situations arising in both of those areas that the little day-to-day frustrations are most evident, and where it can be tough to smile or reach out with a kind word or an attentive ear. It's outside of AA's rooms that I face the real test of the effectiveness of my walk through AA's 12 steps. And, you know, the gift is 12 steps of action to change our attitude and behaviour on a daily basis. And we can't learn them all at once, and we need a bit of time. So as long as we don't try and fix ourselves with a drink, and we offer ourselves up for a choice today, choose to live sober and try to find out what life has for us and how it can work again, using the 12-step program in practice rather than just thinking it. It's actually an emotional feeling program. It helps us understand where we are, what we can do, and how to go about it. And there is a serenity prayer to God or good conscience, whatever floats your boat. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Hopefully and simply is just for one day. When our feeling is probably telling us the right answers. And one of my common themes over the last couple of years is our feelings never lie to us, and our thinking probably does, because we want to think our way out. And that may put me at odds with people who are very keen on cognitive behavioural therapy, which is a thinking man's way of giving yourself a kick up the arse. So, yeah, I say it in jest, but there are some good things about cognitive behavioural therapy because it underlies all the things we need to work on to keep sober a day at a time. So, what helps me more on a daily basis is the Fellowship of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, which is an emotional, spiritual and physical program, one day at a time. Simply one day to make life work. And as a good reminder yesterday, I went to my lunchtime meeting where I made tea for everybody and heard all about is it better to be right or to be happy? I'll come back to that if I have time towards the end of the video. Anyway, what do we say at Alcoholics Anonymous when we first walk in? Or what do we encounter? Well, we first encounter the preamble of AA, shared in every meeting at the beginning, and it's on this little card here. Readily available if you are in need of it, from an AA meeting probably. If they have enough money, of course, to buy literature, and some don't. Here we go. AA. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Yippee, that's what we do. We do it on a daily basis, and back to basics really. January is the first month of the year. There are 12 action steps in AA, so really my focus is on, in January, powerless over alcohol and life got unmanageable. And the 12th step actually says, this is the way it's put, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. And, my best thinking could not stop me from drinking. That sounds like a slogan. My best thinking could not stop my drinking. And what I've learned is my feelings do come first, and they don't lie to me, because my feelings told me over and over again that drinking was a bad idea, but I thought I'd be alright. I thought I could control it. And I guess my self-will, my willpower, ran riot. And the more I tried to utilise my willpower, the less I seemed to be able to stop drinking. So this thing of thinking and feeling, and is it better to be right or happy, they all have a connection to our thinking and our emotions. And in the in the fellowship we have literature, which is helpful if you can't get to a meeting, but it's also helpful because it explains the 12 steps of action and the 12 traditions which hold the fellowship together. And the most important part of this is we are free to come and go as we please. Nobody in AA can tell us what to do. There are only suggestions, merely suggestions how we may want to utilise the 12 steps and observe what the 12 traditions do for us. And tradition 1 is, yes, very simply, you can't tell me what to do. And more importantly, I can't tell you what to do because I don't have the right way for you. We only develop that as we go along, and we're all unique, authentic people. We go to AA for one reason only, a desire to stop drinking. And then we learn our recovery path as we go. So these 12 steps of action are living steps. They work in reality, and that's where they must work, in reality, and not as a model in our head or a process we may or may not apply to life. So that's a bit of the background. So what do I do on a daily basis when I wake up? I don't necessarily drop to my knees and exhort a prayer or meditation to God. What I do, I have a good conscience in my head which I can utilise, and it tells me, if I allow my head to operate well, that I am powerless over alcohol, and if I were to go back and drink, life would get unmanageable. So that's the first step, actually admitting powerlessness over drink, and that if we do drink, life will become unmanageable. So the admission then needs to be translated into action, which is accepting life without drink. So admission to acceptance is the vital key in powerlessness. And I also remind myself I'm powerless over people, places and things, and the world is just as it may be today. And that in this world, people, whether they behave well or badly, are probably doing their best with what they have available to them. So there we are, that's a bit of a start. So daily reflections for today, January the 4th. Begin where you are. We feel that elimination of our drinking is but a beginning. A much more important demonstration of our principles lies before us in our respective homes, occupations and affairs. And that comes from AA's Big Book, page 19. Goes on to say, it's usually pretty easy for me to be pleasant to the people in an AA setting. While I'm working to stay sober, I'm celebrating my fellow AAs, our common release from the hell of drinking. It's often not so hard to spread glad tidings to my old and new friends in the programme. At home or at work, though, it can be a different story. It is in situations arising in both of those areas that the little day-to-day frustrations are most evident, and where it can be tough to smile or reach out with a kind word or an attentive ear. It's outside of the AA rooms that I face the real test of the effectiveness of my walk through AA's 12 steps. And it says walk through AA's 12 steps. I think actually it's living AA's 12 steps, which works for me. And that means that I need to keep in mind that I'm only the same size as anybody else on the planet. And if I try and make it bigger or make me more important, I will lose my sense of proportion. So I need to be careful that I don't get full of ego, get fearful and put on a brave face for one thing. And that I keep a close understanding of what my emotions are telling me. Now, I'm still using As Bill Sees It. I haven't got through the whole of the book, but there's only a little bit left. And then I'll start again at the beginning. And page 320, running the whole show, sort of fits in with this. Most people try to live by self-propulsion. Each person is like an actor who wants to run the whole show, and is forever trying to arrange the lights, the scenery, and the rest of the players in his own way. If his arrangements would only stay put, if only people would do as he wished, the show would be great. What usually happens? The show doesn't come off very well. Admitting he may be somewhat at fault, he is sure that other people are more to blame. He becomes angry, indignant, self-pitying. All those things we need to be careful of, because they will set us off into a rage. Is he not really a self-seeker, even when trying to be useful? Is he not a victim of the delusion that he can wrest satisfaction and happiness out of this world, if only he manages well? And the gift in that is that we're not in charge, and we have to take account of other people. We have to put ourselves in their shoes as well. So part of this whole learning how to be powerless is, I guess, what we were talking about yesterday in our meeting, which is it better to be right or is it better to be happy? Now, if we use our thinking brains, it's about whether we're right or wrong. And there is no right and wrong in life, it's just the way life runs. That's just the way it is. And we have choices around that. So if we want to be right, we can use our thinking brain. And if we want to be happy, it's our emotional reaction or response to what is going on around us. And often our feelings tell us there's something wrong, but it's not necessarily other people. If there's something wrong, or it feels wrong, it means there's probably something going on inside us which is agitated. And basically, do I need to be right or do I need to be happy? It's a balance of finding out what those things are, what I encounter on a daily basis. And being happy is far more preferable to being right and in my thinking.